Hey, it's Alex Cosper with SacTV.com and PlaylistResearch.com. With me today, one of the most legendary radio personalities in Sacramento history, Pat Martin.
Wow, thank you. That's very kind of you.
Well, I'm being honest because you hold the record still, right?
I still hold the record.
Longest time in one time slot at the same station.
With no changes.
How long did you do the show, the midday show on
KRXQ? 33 years.
33 years. And
Yep.
Nobody's come close to that?
Well, Pat and Tom are close, I think.
Okay.
On KSEG, the morning show.
Okay, the morning show.
So Tom, by the way, lives about 5 houses from where we're sitting. He lives right around the corner from me, and I'm good buddies with him. And I told him, you know, I think you're closing in on my record. And he goes, let me look into that. He goes, yeah, this November. So if they make it to November, which they will, I think they might break it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then you'll have to rely on your art.
Yes,
right?
yes.
You've become an artist since you left radio.
Right, right.
So you retired in 2023, right?
Right.
Right around the same time Bob Keller did, right?
Yeah, just a couple weeks before. I've got 4 guys that I consider on my Mount Rushmore. Number 1 is Jim Ladd. Number 2 is Bob Coburn. Number 3 is Jim McGinnis down in San Diego, still alive and doing well. Mm-hmm. And number 4 was Bob Keller. I met the Stones. I met Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
You know, I met the King. I've interviewed the Kinks, Ray Davies and Dave Davies, Angus Young and Brian Johnson. I've met them. I met the guys at U2. Interviewed Larry Mullen Jr. once. I don't know. I've had so many interviews. Geddy Lee he doesn't really do interviews.
Right.
And the record company told Geddy, hey, there's this guy in Sacramento who will do you justice. He won't jerk you around. He's a genuine guy. He loves music. He loves your band. Would you do an interview with him? And Geddy said yes. So I interviewed him down at Cal Expo backstage.
Cool.
And Geddy told the record guy afterwards, he says, that was one of the best interviews I've ever done.
All right.
So I was very honored by that. Oh, and I interviewed Chester Bennington from Lincoln Park a number of times.
Okay.
And Chester requested that I be the interviewer. And so I was.
Wow.
So I got flown down to Burbank, and I interviewed Chester for this radio special. And the studio where we recorded was Casey Kasem's studio.
American Top 40.
Yep. So just things like that kept me going. I love being around rock and roll and music, and I love the hours, and I love the nature of the job where I really didn't feel like I was working. So I really, really enjoyed my radio career very much, and I was very lucky.
All right, Pat. So give us a tour of your art.
We'll do a real quick tour. I do geometric abstracts. Generally, I paint on wood panels. I generally paint in black and white. Occasionally, I use some color, but this is a good example of one of my pieces. This one's called Organized Chaos. It's on a wood panel. It's 2 or 3 shades of black, believe it or not, which gives it a subliminal texture. But this is a good example of the kind of work I do, geometric abstracts.
Let's look up a little up-close look here. So you go through a process. You start off with doing it in pencil, right?
Yeah, I pencil a general shape or 2 in and then go from there. I think on this piece I started with this guy right here, this maze sort of thing, and it grew from there.
So when you're making these shapes, are you thinking of anything specifically, or does it just come to you?
It just comes to me. I let my mind wander. I try to use my inner creativity, and I try to create stuff that might be interesting to look at, that might conjure up a story within your own mind. I mean, my paintings mean whatever you want them to mean. Whatever they conjure up in your imagination, that's what it's for. Some of the paint I use it's called, it's the blackest paint in the world. It's from this guy named Stuart Semple. And it's the blackest paint. It's so black. It's the blackest of all. It's blacker than black. So, and I use several shades and Gives it a weird texture. Here's where I store some of my paintings. I don't know what to do with them. These are all on my website, patmartinart.com, but here's some of my paintings that I've done.
You plan on doing art shows?
Yeah. There's some galleries that have some interest, and you know, there's the website going, so yeah. Okay, this painting is called The Watchful Eye. I actually sold this painting, so I have to give it away pretty soon. But this is a good example of the geometric abstract that I like to do. So there it is. This is a 3 foot by 4 foot wood panel. I even made the frame and everything around it.
And that's important because framing is a big part of art, right?
Oh, I've had several pieces professionally framed, and they are expensive to frame. But this one I made myself in fact, I bought the wood at Home Depot. So there you go. And finally, we have sort of a living art exhibition because the lights change color. I have my lights programmed to change color. And this one's called Sphere. This is the only painting I've ever done on canvas. So it's 18 by 18 on canvas. And it's another geometric abstract. You can see the colors changing. And people who come over to the house really seem to enjoy that. Because who doesn't love colors, you know? Yeah. And it gives it a new personality every time it changes color.
Yeah, it reminds me of like a digital planet from a distant galaxy.
I like it. See, that's what I was talking about. Whatever you think it is, that's what it is. And I love that. Thank you for having me, and hope you guys enjoyed the interview and my art. My website, patmartinart.com. And thank you, Alex, for coming over. Great to see you.
Yeah.
We go back a long ways now, so this has been a lot of fun.
It's definitely been fun, and thank you very much, Pat.
You're welcome.